Of September 1st, 2023, when an Atlanta police officer was called to the scene of an auto accident at around 3 a.m. The officer quickly reported to duty, only to notice upon arrival that something about the situation wasn't quite right.
What's going on, man?
Somebody just hit us at the red light. This my husband.
Standing at the scene of the incident was 42-year-old Patricia Smith and her husband, 47-year-old Samuel Smith, who was heavily intoxicated and, even more surprising, handcuffed.
Sir? He in handcuffs? Why is he in handcuffs?
I can't answer no questions, sir.
Hold on 1 second. Leave him there, leave him there, leave him there, leave him there, leave him there.
An ambulance was later called to the scene and the couple were both arrested. Patricia was charged with DUI and other traffic charges, while her husband, Samuel, was arrested on an outstanding warrant. With the couple set to go to jail, one of the senior officers went over to ask Patricia about the mystery behind her husband's cuffs. The answer to that question would lead the officers to another clue in this mystery.
How did he wind up in handcuffs?
Sir, we just left the strip club.
Which strip club?
Peaches.
Peaches? Okay. I got you. Over on RDA?
Yeah.
I got you. Okay. Did you guys get into it with security over there?
Sir, I don't know.
Okay.
All I know is that's my husband. I don't know.
Okay, that's fine. You're good.
Despite knowing she was heading to jail, Patricia refused to reveal the identity of the man that had put her husband in cuffs. However, she did give the officers a new lead, a nearby strip club named Peaches. And so, the officers left the scene of the accident and drove to the nearby club where they met 49-year-old Terrence Jacks dressed in a complete DHS outfit.
What do you work for? Homeland. Okay.
Jacks told the officers that he worked for the Department of Homeland Security, DHS, as a special agent, and to be fair to Jacks, he genuinely looked the part. The 49-year-old was dressed in a vest that had a police patch on it, had a special agent badge, a handgun, and a sedan equipped with blue lights, all of which supported his claim of being a special agent. But because Jacks told the officers he was a DHS special agent and looked both nervous and unsure of himself, the officers immediately knew something was off. But first, they needed to know what had happened earlier with the couple they found.
Did y'all have some up here a little bit ago? Male and female get into it with anybody?
Yeah.
Sure left in a pair of cuffs?
Yeah.
Alright, what was the story with that?
Jacks admitted to handcuffing Steven, but he claimed that it was only because they were making a nuisance of themselves in the club.
They were just drunk.
Alright.
And
Whose handcuffs is he wearing?
mine, he took off. He jumped in the SUV and took off.
Yeah.
At this point, it was clear to the officers that Jacks was lying, so the officers detained him a little further to confirm his status as a DHS special agent. And it's at this point that Jacks' lies began to crumble one by one.
Here's what I want you to do for me, okay? Here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna take your firearm off your side. Okay?
Okay.
You got just syrup right here?
Yeah.
Alright. Place that in my car. I'm gonna detain you for right now.
Okay. All right.
The officer then began to strip Jacks of his badge and other accessories.
Right now, you are not under arrest. You're just being detained for the further investigation here. Do you have a key to your handcuffs?
In the car.
Keys in the car?
Yeah.
Who's the radio through?
Now, up until this point, Terrence Jacks had maintained his position of being a DHS special agent. However, Terrence must have realized that he'd already been backed into a corner, because when the officer asked him the next question, Jacks didn't lie. Instead, he chose to shoot himself in the foot.
eBay. Nobody.
Okay.
Wanting to confirm he heard correctly, the officer asked again.
That's not a Homeland radio?
No.
Okay. I'm gonna have you have a seat in my car for a minute, okay?
No.
As Terrence Jacks sat in the officer's car, more officers joined the scene as they tried to figure out who Jacks was and what his motives were. And that's when they discover even more shocking details.
The license plate is off of a Bluebird school bus from Tucker, Georgia. That's how he got a GB tag.
Radio check this thing.
The police officer gathered all evidence they had together, and Terrence was arrested and charged with suspicion of impersonating a public officer or employee and was booked into the Fulton County Jail. However, Terrence isn't the only one whose silly idea of impersonating a cop saw him serve some jail time. Meet Brandon Wasinski, an 18-year-old from New Mexico. Brandon was pulling a traffic stop at around 12:30 in the morning when a real police officer who happened to be passing by noticed something about the situation wasn't quite right. Brandon's car didn't have any police markings, but the car was flashing red and blue lights. And to further add to his confusion, Brandon wasn't wearing any police uniform. Instead, he was spotting a face cap, blue jeans, and white sneakers. So the officer pulled up to have a look. But the closer he got, the more he realized he was up to something.
I'll talk to him for a minute.
Intrigued by how a young man was making a traffic stop in the middle of the night, the officer decided to quiz Brandon about who and what department of the police he worked for.
What's going on? Who do you work for?
Early country time.
Oh, okay.
I know, I'm under-equipped.
Normally, dude, if you're out here, man, if you're making a traffic stop, you're just gonna have to stop, dude. Alright?
Brandon told the police officer that he was working for the Bernalillo County Sheriff's Department, even though he looked like he belonged in the football squad of some high school team. The officer immediately knew something was up, so he asked Brandon to show some means of identification to confirm his status. And this is where things start to get even more tricky.
You say you work for Bernalillo Sheriff's?
Yes, sir.
Do you have an ID with you?
And this is all I got. I mean, like I said, I'm under-equipped. I was just heading over there to the courthouse
To the courthouse for what?
to get my crap. I know, it makes no sense. I caught him going 120 down I-40.
Why do you have lights on this vehicle?
Personal, I know.
Do you have an ID with you at all?
No, I keep it on my uniform.
Brandon said he worked at the sheriff's department, but had no other means of ID except for his badge, and was going to the courthouse to get it before he saw a driver going above the speed limit and decided to pull him over. And when the officer asked why he was flashing blue lights, he simply said it was for personal reasons. But because Brandon's story showed a few gaps, like how he was under-equipped, the officer knew something was up.
And I'm not here to mess with you, man. It's just the thing is, yeah, he was speeding, dude. You could have called it in. And, because if you get into shooting, you're
Right.
All right, man.
I understand.
All right.
This, for starters, I know this looks really bad.
Right.
This looks really bad. This screams whacker.
One thing you gotta give to Brandon, though, is the confidence. He might be 18, but all through the interrogation, he acted like nothing was wrong and played it cool. However, it's that confidence that would eventually spell his doom. But for now, Brandon was bouncing on it.
How long you been on?
About 3 years.
Okay. I've been on for like 13 years. Alright, so I'm not saying I'm perfect, and I'm not saying that I've never done anything to, against protocol, but you need to be a little bit more careful, alright?
Yes, sir.
So just do me a favor, hang tight for a second, okay?
Yes, sir.
And we're gonna, and that's it, alright? Once we're done here.
Now, if you're thinking that Brandon's confidence might just steer him out of trouble, think again, because the police officer had reached out to his superior to come down and help. And as far as Brandon goes, his day was about to go from bad to worse.
Hey, Brendan. In the meanwhile, man, until I get somebody out here, man, do me a favor. I'm not gonna handcuff you, but I'm gonna have you sit in the back of my car, all right?
All right.
Do you have anything on you, man? Any weapons or anything? Okay.
Keys and wallet.
That's fine. Just have a seat, all right?
As Brandon sat in the back of the police car watching the officers discuss his situation, Brandon began to think hard about his situation. And that's when the 18-year-old realized a daunting truth. He had messed up and there was no going back.
What's that?
Can we talk real quick?
Yeah, give me 1 second. What's up, man?
All right. I'm just going to be straight up honest with you. I'm not a cop.
Up until this point, Brandon had kept his cool and acted like he was in the right. But now, everything was falling to pieces, and the boy behind the costume finally revealed himself.
Okay. Okay.
I'm just gonna be.
Where'd you get that
honest.
badge from?
I bought it offline.
Okay. Do me a favor, stay in here, okay? For a second.
This is a situation many of us have found ourselves in the past. The moment your lies finally catch up to you and you're left with nowhere else to run but the truth. And as Brandon contemplated his terrible decisions, the officer explained the situation to his superior.
I was heading northbound on 4th Street. See this unit, 54 in the car. I'm like, okay, it's this car that's right here. And the guy was wearing jeans, no gun belts, no nothing, a t-shirt. And I'm like, and just wearing like an Air Force hat. So I'm like, that's strange. So I flip around, and his plates come back to civilian, doesn't come back to, a skip or anything. So I stopped. I talked to him for a minute.
It's here that the cop also reveals to us that Brandon had also lied about his age.
He first told me he was born in 94. When I checked the plates, he was born in 2001.
We also find out that the officer did a background check on Brandon and discovered something that might explain why Brandon decided to start playing police.
I double checked with MVD. His oil end comes back to 2001. I had him sitting back in my car because that's kind of weird to me. And right now when I was getting out, he's like, hey, let me talk to you again. I was like, no, I'm not a cop. I just bought this badge online.
So he's not an ECSO employee at all?
No.
After reaching a conclusion with the sergeant, Brandon was finally arrested.
Hey, Brandon, step out of the booth for a second, man. At this point right now, you are being under arrest. Do you understand? Okay. And give me a moment, and then we're going to talk a little bit more, okay?
All right.
It's unclear whether Brandon was just having fun playing police or whether he dreams of one day becoming an officer. Whatever the answer is, instead of enrolling in a police academy to become a proper official of the law, the 18-year-old decided to take matters into his own hands and ends up in cuffs because of it. Now, you would expect the story to end here, but not quite.
Mind if I take a look at your badge? Would you be okay with that?
Yeah.
You got this online?
At this point, Brandon had been caught and arrested, and logically, he should be done with the lies. But instead of telling the officer that he got the badge online, just as he'd previously told the first officer, the 18-year-old decided to lie again.
You got this online?
It was at one point my father's.
Brandon even sheds some tears and begs the officers to let him speak to his wife, which might have probably been a lie too.
Do you mind if I call my wife and tell her I'm not coming home tonight?
It's going to be a decision these gentlemen make.
So I need you to lean back a little bit.
Can I please call my wife?
When we get to the substation, we'll give her a call. Okay?
Other than Brandon is 79-year-old police chaplain Harlan Jeffers, whose reckless decisions saw him end up